Well, how's it going, Kingsman? Welcome back to another Napoleon Total War battle. Look at these gorgeous lines of infantry. Some French infantry here. We are on the battlefield of Waterloo, and things are a little reversed today, guys. That's right, you see the French in the British positions. What an odd battle. Now, I did play in this one, which is why I'm posting it. I'm not sure exactly what happened, how we got on this side. I guess it's figuring it out, but we did some fun stuff. One of them being, well, I should say not me, one of the players did some fun stuff with some artillery. We're going to get to see artillery on full display. Napoleon himself would be proud. In fact, speaking of Napoleon, look at him sitting right here. He's like, ha, I got the high ground this time. Wellington must come to me. The irony of that. So this is a 3v3, large unit sizes as always. This is the Grand Battle mod for Napoleon Total War. Some new updates have come out, and man, the artillery sound effects that they got, you can hear them, guys. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I should say as a disclaimer, this has nothing to do with the game. I screwed up my recording setup, and I've had to, over the last 24 hours, in a panic, try to fix my graphics, my audio, all this stuff, because I tried to improve it and convert to like recording in HDR, and OBS does not do that. Does not do it very well, at least, and it was screwing up my graphics and audio and all this stuff. And hopefully my mic is back to working order. It may sound weird compared to normal. I'm still fine-tuning it, guys. The only way I can is by, you know, recording stuff, and I had to record this battle. I'm looking forward to recording it. So I'm sorry if things all sound weird for those who are a little bit more picky. I'm sorry. Yeah. But that aside, that's the disclaimer in this video. Things may sound weird. So I guess if you enjoy just the cinematic side, then, you know, this is for you. Now, there are 3 French armies, I do believe, on the field. Like I said, there's me on the right flank. You have a British or a French army in the center, and then one on the far left flank, right flank for the coalition, left flank for the Imperials. You can see the counter battery, guys, is becoming quite brutal, hearing the artillery whizzing overhead. Counter battery is quite brutal. Now, I'm getting my artillery up as well. The plan was to mass artillery in the center. This French army is very small. And then we will push up on the other flanks instead. And, you know, defend the left and right flank. It became a very cinematic battle, and that's what I'm hoping to be able to show you guys today. You know, be able to show you the glorious have engagements with infantry, because despite having massive amounts of artillery setting up, which we did mass up the artillery, the other side they gritted their teeth, guys, and they pushed forward, and it became a quite intense battle. So I don't think anything happens in the moment. I may skip ahead. If that does, obviously, I'm not pushing on Hougoumont. La Haison is, I believe, not being contested either. It became an interesting battle, not even historically accurate at all. But yeah, I may skip ahead, guys, till the fighting actually happens, because it kind of sets for a little bit. So we'll be back in just a second. Alright, guys, so we are seeing a little bit of an advance here in the center. The British pushing up, getting some squares set up. Obviously, they've seen cavalry, some hussars are taking some shots at them. Artillery actually whizzing, kind of missing, you know, going overhead here. Yeah, they're in a bit of a sheltered spot, which actually works out for them. Imagine being in this position and you just hear the artillery shells just bouncing overhead, and you're just, that could get a little nerve-wracking, you know? I can imagine that getting rather stressful. My howitzers are firing, I think. I don't know if my howitzers have fired yet. I had some howitzers which, honestly, they didn't fire very quickly. Yeah, they did fire. But we have this massive, this kind of reminds me of like a Gettysburg Pickett's charge, like pre-shelling moment, you know, with all this artillery just shooting constantly. Talk about some intensity, man. We have the Swiss, or not, sorry, some, I mean, they're not Swiss, Garde de Paris. Obviously the reinforcing French army way up here on the flank. He does have a decent chunk of cavalry. I brought a good mixture of infantry just to hold that right flank. Nothing happening on my side though. I did a little scouting and the British Army's kind of holding fast. Both of us kind of staring across this right flank. Artillery has shifted targets. The counter battery fight still raging though, to see who can take out the guns first. You can see some of the British guys do break. We're trying to drive their artillery superiority they may be striving to have. Man, the guns are brutal here, guys. Just absolutely brutal.
Sarge, I'm scared.
Like I said, the skirmishers, we have infantry pushing up here, skirms from the other side. Actually, we have some bunch of cavalry pushing forward. Oh, look at the glorious. There's Mamelukes, Hussars, all mixed together. Looks like some cavalry here on the flank. And clashing here. So France getting a nice edge with the cav up on the flank. We're starting to see a lot more infantry and cavalry though from, oh yeah, I did go over the coalition factions in Austria and 2 British armies here on the field. Sorry guys, I'm just, you know, this whole recording thing just screwed me up majorly. I was so stressed. I guess kind of context to that, it took me forever to start recording. When I first started my YouTube career, I spent weeks testing, trying stuff to get my computer to actually record. I didn't know what I was doing and my recordings kept being super laggy, glitchy, it was so frustrating, guys. So yeah, it reminded me of that again and stressed me out, and I was thinking my YouTube career was over for a little bit there, just because I'm not computer savvy at all, so you know, it was stressful, but I'm glad things are still working. Obviously some fine-tuning probably needs to be done still, but enough about that. Look at these skirmishers now kind of engaging a little bit with this British flank. They have some skirms of their own that they've set up. Fire! That's probably really, really loud, man. Alright, now I am advancing here on the flank. I am going up, posting up here, just trying to get a position. You'd say, trying to maybe take Huguemont, see what happens. The British are kind of answering in kind. Maybe if I had not touched anything, we could have won on the other side of the battle. But he's got a lot of Scots Greys, a lot of infantry, or not Scots Greys, a lot of Highlanders, and then just regular lines of infantry. More Highlanders, a lot of Highlanders. I was not too excited about seeing that. But I got some good shooters, so I'm going to start forming up to meet him. I got some light infantry that I pushed up, or not even light infantry, I don't think. Yeah, it is, 150 man. He has skirmishers pushing up to kind of, you know, deal with that. I have taken Huguemont without even having it contested, but I'm about to have it contested, you bet. Not sure my artillery is actually firing at this point in time. I have the skirmishers getting contested. We have infantry now who are pushing downhill to engage with the British lines. A lot of cavalry here on the left flank to protect. I'm assuming the coalition has some cavalry. I didn't really get to check out that side of the battle. But we still have not had a regular engagement yet, guys. Both sides haven't really pushed up to you know, engage with the other. We're still waiting to see where the first clash is going to be. But we may actually have a little bit more of an engagement. Actually, we got cavalry massing up here on this flank with skirmishers pushing up. This actually may be the first real engagement here with the Mamluks going in against those skirmishers. Ooh, they stopped. Still, them forming up is probably not going to do too much here. It looks like some light infantry contingents pushing up and skirmishers making a stand against them. Oh, we have a huge cav engagement here on the flank. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize this happened. Along the entire side here, I guess we'll see. This could be huge as to who wins. There's some scouts getting a flank on the Austrian cavalry. Could be the winning blow here, considering also there's a lot more cavalry for France than there is for some Scots Greys, though. Some Scots Greys. Very decisive win here so far. Now, of course, there is a lot more cavalry starting to pour in. In fact, we have a lot more... Oh, wow. A lot more stuff pushing in here. Ooh, which routes some units. And complications start. Now cavalry does rush in to counter that British cav. Now Britain is going to also push forward their cav. Austria still engaged in some big cav fights over here with more of the English. But I think the French still have way more cavalry in support of this line. Over here, still nothing happening, guys. As you can see, just kind of hanging out. Artillery may help support this, but what a beautiful attack by the English. Throwing back that first initial advance. We have more cavalry charging in, though. More and more cav looks like it's actually pouring over the ridge line. We have some dragoons in Poitiers. I think actually my light infantry is finally getting engaged here. We do have artillery trying to help out on this flank as well. Got a kind of a wall that I'm using. And what I'm trying to do is form up so that they have to go into shooting range. I'm trying to get more men to the line than they have to kind of increase my own firepower. Over here, it does look like the cavalry victory for France has been cemented here. Austria breaking. I missed yet another cav charge by the Mamelukes. Another charge. I think it's actually me. This is my cavalry. They go in for some skirmishers. Surprisingly, though, it really starts making them feel, I mean, it's probably because they're flanked away, but man, they were on the brink of defeat almost immediately. It was kind of surprising. More cavalry charging through. This is becoming a rough fight already. Vicious, vicious, guys. And now the fighting is going to start hitting over here a little bit harder. I'm still scrambling to reform. Like I said, trying to get my guys into a bigger position, basically, to be able to maximize my firepower. I was hoping to drag them into more of a flank. But we may actually have a little bit more of an engagement. Actually, we got cavalry massing up here on this flank with skirmishers pushing up. This actually may be the first real engagement here with the Mamluks going in against those skirmishers. Ooh, they stopped. Still, them forming up is probably not going to do too much here. It looks like some light infantry contingents pushing up and skirmishers making a stand against them. Oh, we have a huge cav engagement here on the flank. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize this happened. Along the entire side here, I guess we'll see. This could be huge as to who wins. There's some scouts getting a flank on the Austrian cavalry. Could be the winning blow here, considering also there's a lot more cavalry for France than there is for... Ooh, some Scots Greys, though. Some Scots Greys. Very decisive win here so far. Now, of course, there is a lot more cavalry starting to pour in. In fact, we have a lot more... Oh, wow. A lot more stuff pushing in here. Ooh, which routes some units. And complications start. Now cavalry does rush in to counter that British cav. Now Britain is going to also push forward their cav. Austria still engaged in some big cav fights over here with more of the English. But I think the French still have way more cavalry in support of this line. Over here, still nothing happening, guys. As you can see, just kind of hanging out. Artillery may help support this, but what a beautiful attack by the English. Throwing back that first initial advance. We have more cavalry charging in, though. More and more cav looks like it's actually pouring over the ridge line. We have some dragoons in Poitiers. I think actually my light infantry is finally getting engaged here. We do have artillery trying to help out on this flank as well. Got a kind of a wall that I'm using. And what I'm trying to do is form up so that they have to go into shooting range. I'm trying to get more men to the line than they have to kind of increase my own firepower. Over here, it does look like the cavalry victory for France has been cemented here. Austria breaking. I missed yet another cav charge by the Mamelukes. Another charge. I think it's actually me. This is my cavalry. They go in for some skirmishers. Surprisingly, though, it really starts making them... I mean, it's probably because they're flanked away, but man, they were on the brink of defeat almost immediately. It was kind of surprising. More cavalry charging through. This is becoming a rough fight already. Vicious, vicious, guys. And now the fighting is going to start hitting over here a little bit harder. I'm still scrambling to reform. Like I said, trying to get my guys into a bigger position, basically, to be able to maximize my firepower. I was hoping to drag them into more of a flank. Alright guys, sorry, we are back. Had a bit of a crisis at the house. Had to go deal with. But we are back. So that battle's starting to get into full swing. This one's still a raging fight. Both sides not willing to give up this kind of slope, at least right now. You have the Austrians now backing up some of the British. The artillery, though, definitely going to make it a living hell for them to advance. That's kind of cool looking, though. Man, look at that. Look at that. It's such a gorgeous game, such a beautiful sight to see. Now with the Austrians engaging, the British can have a chance maybe to do something on the flank. We do have some cavalry and infantry starting to push through. And artillery looks like it's starting to hammer this position as well. Both sides exchanging more and more volleys, more infantry pushing up. You have the dragoon, dismounted dragoons basically. And France is actually getting driven back with this very, very determined attack being made by Austria and Britain. Over here, this has been a little bit more of a back, like kind of an equal fight, but just barely starting. Now I'm forming up. I think I have more troops in the line than he does, which is kind of the idea. I was hoping to pull him into that engagement. I'm pushing up over here, trying to go for the skirmishers. His line's still holding there, but kind of a boring fight, to be honest. If I'm being totally honest, it's a bit of a boring fight compared to this raging battle. Infantry now making it over the crest of the hill, and I'm sure every gun is going to be trained onto this position. And we will see probably carnage, utter carnage ensue. Oh my gosh. What did I say? These poor Austrians don't even know what's about to hit them. Well, the artillery's not super accurate, it would appear. On the flank, looks like the British have taken a bit more of this right flank, and now we're starting to push towards the French. Even more than before. A lot more infantry, guys, for the coalition. All the infantry has fallen back, is rerouting. Over here, I'm kind of pulling back. A lot of skirmishers kind of shredding me up quite a bit. There's also a race for the flank. Who can get to the flank first? To be able to angle down and start really shooting. My guys still reforming up their new line. I did bring some elite Marines kind of to defend my flank. Brought 2 of them, kind of chevron them up. They're excellent shooting. Stats make them very good, especially for a flanking engagement. We'll have to keep checking in to see how that fight is going. I do believe, yep, we have another engagement. You had some cavalry go for the artillery piece, and thankfully they broke, probably getting volleyed by some of this French infantry. We have some cav charging downhill now, as some of the first advancing Austrians do break. And a flanking charge instantly routs those Austrians. But the flank is looking kind of determined at this point in time.
Our men are running, sir!
Oh, my men are running. Oh, look at that. This cav charge is all along the board. Oh, that's right. I tried sneaking at light infantry on the flank to start shooting at them. Didn't work out too well. I'm still getting outflanked here. I'm going to have to shift even more troops over to this side because they are starting to outnumber me. I'm not sure what troops these are, but I had a sneaking suspicion they may be Coldstream. Got kind of nervous that that was what actually was happening, so I'm shifting more of my infantry towards that side. The center position, this is a grind, guys. That's all this is. Like I said, kind of a boring fight. Compared to this one, we do have quite a big advance once again in the center. Oh my gosh, artillery just chewing up this Austrian line. They're going into the cannons of death. I feel like they shouldn't have advanced here. If they had maybe pushed this flank, artillery couldn't shoot through these buildings very easily. I would have pushed to the flank and then gone around this whole side. Instead of going right into the guns, you know, reconsolidate, it would have forced them to maybe re-limber up the our artillery, and push it this way. But, you know, pushing directly into the guns, you know, not the greatest. But like I said, props to them. They went right into the teeth of the well-placed defenses. It's kind of a rough go, but they did it anyway. Props to them for that, man. That's rough. Let me go check on my side. I do believe we were starting to get... I had to readjust my line again because actually I was starting to lose a little bit here. My line's getting kind of butchered up a little bit by the British. Thankfully, my elites are about to start firing. Or not. What are they doing? What was I doing? Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. Do I shoot? Yeah, I wasn't even... Wow. Wasn't even paying attention, guys. I probably was, you know, moving stuff around here on the flank. My howitzers trying to help out in this fight here. His cavalry pulls back, and some infantry go in. But let me check on the other side, because that side definitely looked like it was a little bit more of a heated engagement here. You have cavalry going through some gaps in the lines once again. Maybe. Nope, not really. It's a pretty determined resistance. I mean, you got a lot of cavalry and infantry sitting behind the hill, kind of getting a little bit of a shelter. Man, look at this battle, though. We have a bayonet charge going in here. Can't tell who they're going for. I think I did get a flanking volley off with my other regiment to kind of protect. I threw some hussars in just to go for a flanking charge, you know, get some good flanking volleys. And going for the bayonets, give them a cold steel. Break them, and that was the flank that was becoming so worrisome for me. Not sure, that was probably a misclick. Everywhere else, artillery's just kind of helping me out. Over here in the center of battle, still raging.
Our men are running, sir.
Austria is actually getting a nice flank. He needs to press this flank, get some reserves up, and start just volleying this left flank. That's the way to win this. You can see we do not have enough infantry compared to them. And notice how well this flank is working. There's no artillery to really support this side, so infantry can just start volleying it up. I would have pulled back the center and kept swinging around behind the buildings, constantly pushing that flank. Nice charge by the Lancers and Polonaise. Still, though, the hill is being held. Mass routing, obviously, with the canister probably in the front lines. Got a flank in this grove here. Here, I'm still, you know, it's still iffy. They're definitely in the center. These Highlanders are shredding at my line. I guarantee you they have better shooting stats than me. But on the flank, I can start pressing this. I have some of the Impatuis. I have 2 of the Guard Marines now on the flank, so I'm going to start, I guarantee you, this is the place now to start pressing the attack. Start going for the flank. Guard units on the flank scare, and they have better shooting stats. And start shredding them up here. Does look like we have more cavalry charging in. Mamelukes do break, but they do break a skirm. More infantry massing up here.
Yes, sir.
What a fight, you know. Would you really want to be in this yourself? Let's check how this flank is doing as well. It does look like Austria, you could be swinging this whole right flank in my opinion. You look at the red lining. There's just so much that you could do with all of this infantry right here and start just routing that flank. And at this point, I mean, if you've committed to the center, I mean, obviously these units all look like they're kind of, you know, morale is kind of shaken. You can pull back and just keep pressing that right flank. Guarantee you that will work well. Some of these units aren't fighting at all. You can form a square if the cav charges, but see, you're breaking. They're having to pull back at this point, guys. Artillery manning their guns, though. We'll see what this Grand Battery can do. Looks like I got a visitor from my 9-10-month-old. So if you guys hear any random sounds, that's just him. All right. Ooh, nice charge with the cavalry. Mamluk smacking into this light infantry. Over on this side, I'm like I said, guys, I had a very uneventful battle. It was just shooting back and forth. Didn't do much. They had the real fight. Bloody fight. And this Mamluk's really starting to close in here. Looks like we had some Scots Greys forming a square just to kind of defend themselves, shoot multiple angles at once. French Fusiliers probably going to start shooting them down. They got pretty close to the reabouts. They're pretty close here. Having to shift our reserves to the left as Austria had quite a significant push, but thankfully he wasn't making any massive advances. Maybe because of the cavalry, he was worried about it. I mean, it is definitely still a critical, you know, thing to deal with. You got to watch out for the flanking charges, the rear charges with the cavalry. But, you know, there's this cav basically holding off all that infantry. I would advance this unit, square him, fire through here. Oh, wow, they're just going to charge in. I mean, if they form a square, these hussars...
Our men are running, sir.
Ooh. I don't know if Austria formed... Oh, they did form a square. Yeah, so they'll foot these attacks totally fine. These are hussars. They're not going to make any real, you know, real damage. But at this point, guys, the only real... I mean, they're still... The British are stubbornly trying to... And they're staking in this, guys. They're still in it. Artillery still just on. Honestly, the artillery is just constantly rolling in. We have a drummer battalion trying to inspire the men. Now, I will say this, guys, for as much as the artillery looks like it's being deadly, it actually didn't get that many kills. It really did. This is Matt Bob's center. He looked at them. They did not have a lot of kills, even compared to everybody else. So it's kind of interesting how that kind of worked. You know, it didn't matter. It did cause morale issues, though. That was the only thing that really helped. Whoa. Because you look at that, that's only like 10 men right there. Got killed by the artillery. The rest of it's kind of whistling overhead. They actually got a shelter from the artillery right here. Oh, we got a bayonet charge going uphill. And some British have finally made it to the top of the hill, but they're alone. They're probably going to break. Austria's the only one that has some troops left, and now the Garde de Paris have pushed up. The center looks pretty weak at the moment. My fight, once again, still just very much a gentleman's battle. Just standing in lines with little flanks here and there. Holy cow, though. This center attack, quite brutal. Rather brutal. Oh, we have another engagement and more cavalry charging in. But it does look like the majority of the fight is over. The coalition, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, it wasn't that hard of a fight, I don't think. I mean, it was more cinematic than anything with the artillery. We did bring a ton of artillery. It's kind of difficult to face it. The only real strategies you can do against it is pushing around the flanks, going around it, and obviously that meant this entire front, this whole plane right here, is a no-go if you really want to not get slaughtered by artillery. You have to either push this right flank or push this left flank, which obviously I held the left flank to stop that flank from being pushed. And pushing up here, Austria ran into a ton of cavalry, which is probably what kind of helped out there. So now the only real fighting happening is me. I'm prepping my dragoons to go in. Should be able to follow one of them in.
Our men are running.
Wow. I thought I moved that troop out of the way. I was pretty sure I did. Yeah, I did. Okay. I moved units out of the way, guys. I wasn't just pulling through units. That's kind of lame. We do have the British that charged out, flanked my Swiss battalion, and they got them. Then I just pull back my lines to react to it. Folding my lines in to deal with it. There's nothing left to deal with on that side, so it's just the death throes of the coalition.
A glorious victory, sir, is soon to be yours.
There we go. I pull troops out of the way. Clear a path for the dragoons. My howitzers got like no kills either. For spending that much on howitzers, it was a failure of the highest order for me. But that was the battle, guys. That was it. Like I said, not a maybe insanely close fight. I did love the push that the coalition made, though. It looked awesome. I guarantee you, I'm gonna get some screenshots and cool cinematic shots of it because, man, it was cool to see. You can see here the results. So obviously, we got a lot more kills than they did. And probably a lot of mine were from routing troops. It wasn't even actual fighting. It was just running down troops that were routing at the end. You can even see, though, my Marines, 170 kills, other one 65. And then a couple units up there with the kills. My artillery, though, was pretty bottom dollar. I mean, it was 61 and 25 for the kills. But like I said, even the other Matt Bob's artillery didn't even do that well. I mean, he got a lot more kills than me, but his artillery didn't make up a lot of those. Of course, you got the coalition, Captain Arnett in Sol Invictus with 8, 8, and 7. Zardius, man, he ran down quite a lot of troops. So it was a good battle. You can see they brought a lot more troops than we did for the most part. But it made for an interesting attack versus defense. I think the guns just have such a morale impact that no matter what they did, felt like they were just getting hammered. And the troops broke quicker with that morale debuff. So, but anyway, guys, that'll be the battle today. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, I'll keep... I'll still be working on my audio. If my mic was kind of like exploding at points in your ear, I'm sorry about that. Trying to, like, not have the gain too loud so that you can still hear me, but it doesn't break your ears. So I will keep messing, fine-tuning it, and always trying to improve my video quality so you guys have a better experience in these battles. But yeah, that's it. Thank you all so much for joining me. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and as always, I will catch you all in another video.